here's where the fun begins. Welcome to another special installment of the legend, the epic saga, The Madness. I'm Mad Chad, and this is Madness Productions. Picking up where we left off last time in our Star Wars series, we now see another enormous-sized Star Destroyer, similar to the one we saw at the very beginning of the movie, approaching and being dwarfed by a planetary-sized space station. So you see the Star Destroyer headed towards it, and then it pans to top brass officers of the Empire having a debate of sorts. Shall we join them? Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped. They are more dangerous than you realize. Dangerous to your Starfleet, Commander, not to this battle station. The rebellion will continue to gain support of the Imperial Senate. The Imperial Senate will no longer be of any concern to us. I have just received word that the Emperor has dissolved the Council permanently. The last remnants of the old Republic have been swept away. That's impossible. How will the Emperor maintain control of the bureaucracy? The regional governors will now have direct control over their territories. Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle station. And what of the rebellion? If the rebels have obtained a complete technical readout of the station, it is possible, however unlikely, that they might find a weakness and exploit it. The plans you refer to will soon be back in our hands. Any attack made by the Rebel Alliance will be a useless gesture, no matter what technical data they've obtained. This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it. Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader. Your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes, or given you clairvoyance enough to find the rebels' hidden force. I find your lack of faith disturbing. Enough of this! Vader, release him! As you wish. This bickering is pointless. Now, Lord Vader will provide the location of the hidden rebel base by the time this station is operational. We will then crush the rebellion with one swift stroke. Meanwhile, back at Mos Eisley Spaceport, Luke, Ben, and the droids are on their way to Docking Bay 94, but they are being followed by a hooded alien with a long snoot and dark sunglasses, and he begins to speak to a comlink. As they reach their destination, standing before them is the Millennium Falcon. And Luke says, "What a piece of junk!" She can make 0.5 past light speed. But if you don't mind, we're in a bit of a hurry, so we really need to get going. Suddenly, a squad of stormtroopers show up at the entrance and approach Longsnoot, and they're asking, "Where? Where?" And Longsnoot goes, "Blow, blow." And Han Solo's making the final preparations, and the stormtroopers rush into the docking bay, guns a-blazing and blaster fire going all over the place, and he runs up onto the ramp and runs in. He's like, "Okay, Chewie, get us out of here!" These passengers are hotter than I thought. "Okay, Chewie, punch it!" As the Millennium Falcon blasts away from the surface of Tatooine and into space, they are on the cockpit now. And Luke asks, "What's that flashing?" "Knock it off, kid, or you're going to find yourself floating home." Obi-Wan asks, "How long until we make the jump to light speed?" Han Solo replies, "Well, it'll take a few moments to put in the coordinates to the nav computer." "Why can't we just go into light speed now?" "Light speed ain't like dusty crops, boy. You can find yourself flying into a supernova, smashing into a planet, and that'd end your trip real quick now, wouldn't it?" "What's that?" "Star Destroyers, 2 of them. Head straight for us. Get back there, strap yourselves in. I'm going to make the jump to light speed." Suddenly, the stars before them they can see in the cockpit turn into lines, and they fly away into hyperspace, barely escaping the clutches of the Empire. Meanwhile, back at the Death Star, Darth Vader meanders through the corridors of the detention area. Princess Leia sits in her cell, waiting. The door opens. With Darth Vader's escort, he walks in, and behind him comes a floating droid of a sort. It's ball-shaped with all kinds of gadgets and gizmos, and it even has a syringe on the end of it, and it's all woo, woo, woo. And Darth Vader lurches towards Princess Leia and says, "And now, Your Highness, we will discuss the secret location of the hidden rebel base." And he lurches forward, him and the droid, upon her from behind, and the door shuts in the detention area. Later, we see Vader speaking to Grand Moff Tarkin, who happens to be chewing on his fingernails. Vader says, "Her resistance to the mind probe is considerable. It will be some time before we can extract any information from her." Then the guy that got choked by Darth Vader earlier comes in and says, "The final checkout is complete. All systems are operational. What course are we set?" Perhaps she'll respond to a more alternative form of persuasion. So they go to the viewing area of the Death Star, and Lord Vader brings Princess Leia in, and she says, "Governor Tarkin, I expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought aboard." "Charming to the last. You don't know how hard I found it, signing the order to terminate your life. I'm surprised you had the courage to take the responsibility yourself. Princess Leia, before your execution, I would like you to be my guest at a ceremony will make this battle station operational. No star system will dare oppose the Emperor now." Tarkin, the more you tighten your grip, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. "Not after we demonstrate the power of this station. In a way, you have determined the choice of the planet that will be destroyed first. Since you are reluctant to provide us with the location of the rebel base, I have chosen to test the station's destructive firepower on your home planet of Alderaan." No, Alderaan is peaceful. We have no weapons. You can't possibly..." "You prefer another target, a military target? Then name the system." "I grow tired of asking, so I will ask one last time. Where is the rebel base?" "Dantooine. They're on Dantooine." "You see, Lord Vader, she can be reasonable. Continue with the operation. You may fire when ready." "What?" "You're far too trusting. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration, but don't worry. We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough." So then all these workers on the Death Star start, you may commence countdown, and they're shooting lasers through tubes, and they come out on an eye fix upon the Death Star, and it shoots out this very focused, intense laser and destroys the entire planet of Alderaan. Oh my God. Back to the interior of the Millennium Falcon, we see everyone in the interior inside doing different things. This is a great shot. I love this scene. And you've got R2-D2 and C-3PO sitting at a table with Chewbacca, and it seems that R2-D2 and Chewbacca seem to be playing a chess game of sorts. This is known as Dejeric. It is a circular chess table and has holographic chess pieces which resemble all types of alien monsters. This was a really cool showcase. We also see Luke training with a lightsaber against a remote, which is firing little laser bolts at him, and he's trying to block it with a lightsaber and not doing too good of a job. And the next thing you know, Obi-Wan, as he's watching him and coaching him, Obi-Wan is just feeling very... He has to sit down for a minute. And Luke asks him, "What's wrong?" And Obi-Wan says, "I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened. You better get on with your exercises." Han comes into the room. He's well, you can forget your troubles because of those Imperial slugs. I told you I could outrun them. Let's see, we should be in Alderaan in about 0200 hours. Don't everyone thank me at once. And over at the Dejeric table, it's R2-D2's turn. And C-3PO says to him, "Now be careful, R2." And he makes a move, and Chewbacca just made this move, and it looked like he was about to be defeated, and he comes out with this big old monster. It takes him and breaks him over his knee and kills him. And R2, and of course Chewbacca, he starts screaming. He made a fair move. Screaming about it won't get you anywhere. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee. But sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid. That's because droids don't rip people's arms out of their sockets when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that. I see your point, sir. R2, I suggest a new strategy. Let the Wookiee win. In this scene, we also see Luke Skywalker continuing with his exercises with his newfound lightsaber against a remote droid of sorts that keeps shooting him, and he keeps missing with his lightsaber and keeps getting, out and shot by it. And Han Solo laughs and says, "Hokey religions and ancient weapons is no match for a good blaster at your side, kid." You don't believe in the Force, do you? Kid, I've been from one side of this galaxy to the other. Seen a lot of strange stuff. But there ain't nothing that makes me believe that there's one all-powerful force controlling everything. So Obi-Wan finds a helmet with a blast shield over the visual area and walks up to Luke and says, "I suggest you try it again, but this time act on instinct," and puts it on Luke. And he's like, "With the blast shield down, I can't see. How am I supposed to fight?" And he tells him, "Well, sometimes your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them." So Luke's like, "All right, I'll give it a try." And he fails the first time and gets shot again by the droid. And Ben reassures him and tells him, "Stretch out with your feelings." And so he does, and he blocks like 3 or 4 blaster bolts and, puts a lightsaber up, and he's like, "Yay." He's like, "You see, you can do it." And Han says, "Yeah, well, that's what I call luck." And Obi-Wan says, "In my line of business, there's no such thing as luck." And Han replies, "Good against remotes, that's one thing. Good against the living, that's something else." And then, oh, we're coming up on the Alderaan system. Han walks away. Luke walks up to Ben. He's like, "Hey, I actually could feel the Force." And Obi-Wan replies, "That's good. You've taken your first step into a larger world." Back on the Death Star, Tarkin receives an Imperial communique that they have surveyed the planet of Dantooine and that they found the remains of a rebel base, but it has not been inhabited for quite some time. And Darth Vader says, I told you she wouldn't consciously betray the rebellion. Terminate her. Immediately. Stand by, Chewie. Here we go. Cutting the sublight engines. What the? We've come out of light speed into a meteor shower. Some sort of asteroid collision. What's going on? Our position's correct, except no Alderaan. What do you mean? Where is it? That's what I'm trying to tell you, kid. It ain't there. It's been completely blown away. What? How? Destroyed by the Empire. Entire Starfleet couldn't destroy the whole planet. It'd take 1,000 ships with more firepower than I. There's another ship coming in. Maybe they know what happened. It's an Imperial fighter. It followed us! No, it's a short-range fighter. There aren't any bases around here. Where'd it come from? It sure is leaving in a big hurry. If they identify us, we're in big trouble. Not if I can help it. Chewie, jam his transmissions. It's well to let it go. It's too far out of range. Not for long. A fighter that size couldn't have gotten this deep into space on its own. It must have gotten lost and been part of a convoy or something. We ain't gonna be around long enough to tell anybody about us. Look at him. He's headed towards that small moon. I think I can get him before he gets there. He's almost in range. That's no moon. It's a space station. It's too big to be a space station. I have a very bad feeling about this. Turn the ship around. Yeah, I think you're right. Full reverse. Chewie, locking auxiliary power. Chewie, locking auxiliary power. Why are we still moving towards it? We're caught in a tractor beam. It's pulling us in. There's got to be something you could do. There's nothing I can do about it, kid. We're at full power. I'm going to have to shut down. They're not going to get me without a fight. You can't win, but they're all alternatives to fighting. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the section below, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content, and hit the ding-dong for more notifications. And as always, remember, it's not Mad Chad, it's Mad Chad.